Hi, this is Papa G and welcome to Papa Can Cook. Today we're going to do a very simple recipe. It could be done any time of the year. It would be really great to do this during the summer when the tomatoes are fresh. But what I'm going to be making is gnocchi with a fresh tomato sauce. The ingredients are few. We'll start out with the gnocchi. I use Le Venezia, which is the other pasta I use. They make a nice gnocchi. Gnocchi is made from potato flour, so if it's made simply, it shouldn't have any gluten in it because it only has potato flour. But most of the commercial gnocchi, that if you go on the shelf and you look at the ingredients, you will see it has wheat in it. So you have to check the ingredients. Check the label. This one is labeled gluten-free. So this is a gnocchi. Tomatoes, any kind of grape or cherry type tomato. I'm using this medley basket. It's about 3/4 of a pound of these small tomatoes. We'll use that. We're going to use an onion, 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, some fresh basil that we're going to put in. It's going to need salt and pepper. And we're going to be using olive oil for the frying. And that's it. That's all the ingredients. So I'll be back and we'll start to put it together. All the ingredients are now prepared. I've got some olive oil in the pan. It's heating. I'm going to lower it just to a medium-high heat. I cut the onions, by the way, lengthwise along the axis so that they're long. They look much nicer when you do it that way. So I'm going to put the onions in here. You always put the onions in first before the garlic because the onions take longer to cook and you don't want to burn the garlic. So I'm going to put these here and I'm going to soft saute them. Keep the heat not too high. Now one thing you want to do with onions or any allium, onions, leeks, shallots, garlic, or alliums, you want to salt them as soon as you put them in. And the reason is that the salt will release moisture from the onion, and that and the combination of the heat will allow the onions to caramelize, which makes them sweet. So I'm going to do this for a couple of minutes until they start to get soft. Once that happens, I'll put the garlic in, and I already have some minced garlic right over here. I'll put the garlic in. I'll let that sit, go in for about a minute. I took the tomatoes that I had showed you and I cut them in half. If you cut them in half, when you put them in a pan, they release their juices, obviously, and it makes a nice sauce more quickly. If you could do this again with grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes, I would recommend you cut them in half. If you're using a larger tomato like a Campari or something like that, you probably want 1/4 the tomato and put it in. So I'm going to let this cook for a couple of minutes, put the garlic in. In the meantime, I have the water heating up in the pot. By the time I come back, that should be ready to put the gnocchi in. The gnocchi cooks very fast, so we'll finish it all up then. The onions have caramelized nicely. I put the garlic in. The water is boiling. I'm going to slide the gnocchi in to the pot. I have a slotted spoon that I'm going to use. Just give it a stir because I don't want them to stick together. And now I'm going to put the tomatoes in. Turn the heat up just a little bit. And the basil. I like a lot of basil in this dish. You know, how much you use is based on your liking. I think the basil adds a nice sweet flavor to it. And I cut the basil along the axis. I roll the leaves, cut them nice and thin, so they'll release their flavor. And although it's not in the basic recipe, I like to put a little bit of red pepper on this. And that's it. Now, as far as the gnocchi is concerned, I'm going to let this continue to cook. As far as the gnocchi is concerned, you want to stir it And you'll see them start to rise in the pot. I don't know if you can see that, but some of them are starting to rise off the bottom. You want to let them, once they start to rise, you want to wait another minute, which we're doing now. Like I said, the gnocchi cooks very fast. So that's going to sit for a little bit longer. The sauce is cooking nicely. I'm going to lower the heat because I don't want to burn anything. Okay, now using the slotted spoon, I'm going to remove the gnocchi, put it right in the pan with the sauce. Make sure I don't have any stragglers sitting on the bottom of the pot. I don't want to lose them. Mix it up. And that's it. Gnocchi with a fresh tomato sauce. Gonna be great.